Joining us now to talk more about the unrest in France is senior affiliate for the Center for European Studies at Harvard, Art Goldhammer. Art, what is it about the decision to up the pension age in France that has so many people upset?
Well, there are several aspects to the discontent with Macron's decision. The most immediate trigger for the unrest is the fact that a provision of the French Constitution was used to pass the legislation without a vote. That's known as Article 49.3 of the Constitution. It's been there since General de Gaulle insisted on it because the Fifth Republic replaced the very chaotic Fourth Republic. This retirement reform, that's the immediate bone of contention, has been under debate now for several months. Macron thought he would have a majority in the end, but when it came down to the final day, the day of the vote, it seemed that the votes weren't there, and he decided that he had to have this reform anyway, no matter what. So he invoked this provision of the Constitution, which has made people very angry because a lot of people feel that it's just thwarting the will of the people, which is supposed to be represented by the legislature.
So will bumping up the pension age by 2 years really help the French economy all that much?
No, not in my opinion. There are two reasons for Macron's desire to see this reform go through. One is that over medium-long term, say 20 years, there is a need to do something to put the French Social Security system in balance. So they do need to raise more money somehow, but there's no immediate need. Nothing is going to collapse. And there are many other ways this problem could have been resolved. Macron chose, in the end, a way that he had originally denounced. When he was first elected in 2017, he said that raising the retirement age was not a good idea. And he proposed a more comprehensive overhaul of the retirement system.
It seems like people in France have been protesting monthly since Macron became president in 2017. What does he have to do to win over the public?
Well, I'm afraid he's lost his chance to do that. His original sin really was committed in the first months of his presidency back in 2017. When he abolished the so-called wealth tax. And that earned Macron the nickname of President of the Rich, and he's never been able to shed that since. In the period during which this retirement reform has been under debate, there have been more or less weekly or bi-weekly demonstrations, some of which have been huge, among the largest demonstrations in French history, millions of people out in the streets. So far, those demonstrations have been largely peaceful, unlike the Yellow Vest demonstrations. But with the invocation of Article 49.3 of the Constitution yesterday, there have been outbreaks of violence and threats from a number of social movements to turn to a more aggressive approach to opposing this reform. So we may see more violence over the next several weeks and months.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Okay, it's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me.